I recently started reading a book that was suggested to me by a friend. It's called A Nazareth Manifesto. Now, generally, I try to avoid books with the word manifesto in them, but this has been an interesting read thus far. I'm just really started. I'm just in the third chapter, but there's the author is making trying to mark a difference between different ways of understanding the purposes of God in the world. And the big distinction he is making is the difference between the word for and the word with. That oftentimes we think that the whole purpose of God is to work for us, right, or to be for us, that God in the person of Jesus came in order to die and be raised to new life, that we might be made whole, that we might be redeemed and restored and reconciled to God. And we think of this being for or working for as kind of the primary work of God, and he's arguing that actually the work of God and the identity of God and the purposes of God are far more tied up in this idea of being with. That even the working for, the redemptive work of Jesus on the cross is done with the intent of being with. That God could have very easily imagined some way of resolving the problem if that was all God was about doing, but there was more to what God was trying to do in the purpose of Jesus, that God was trying to, and I think did successfully, do more than just work for us, that God came and wanted to be with us, to be with. That's what the word Emmanuel means. When we think about Jesus coming, you will be called Emmanuel. God is with us. Thus far in the book, the argument that's being made is that word Emmanuel, God is with us, that's the core of the gospel, that's the core of what Jesus was doing. That was the purpose of incarnation, God with us. Not God working for us, but God being with us. It's an interesting idea, and I think it has implications for the way that we think about how we want to exist in the world. What does it mean for us to do incarnational ministry? Is it about working for people? Certainly that is at least a part of what happened there, but even in that working for, it is done with the intent of being with. And what might it look like if the work that we do in the world, if our purposes as the church were not kind of some sort of paternalistic working for or trying to fix some problem, but rather we saw our objective as the same objective that Jesus had, that what we really want to do is be with. We want to be with our neighbors. We want to be with those who are hungry. We want to be with those who are homeless. That in being with, the working for kind of grows out of that being with. I think there are some really interesting ways that this really does help us to rethink what it means for us to do the work of God in the world. The work of God in the world is always about being with, and we, as the body of Christ, as the presence of Christ in the world, what might it mean for us to reimagine our purposes and our work in the world as being with and not just working for?